Hi, I'm Trevor Conquergood, and this video is going to be all about how to back up your assets. And I'm recording this to go along with the fall 2019 update to the Floriani Software. But the truth is, it's always a good idea to back up your assets, especially when you're doing, a new update to the software. But just in general, it's always good to have them backed up and know that you have put them somewhere. You'll always be able to find them. So first of all, what are assets, Trevor? You see, anything that you can do to customize your Floriani software is called an asset, and you can save them. Not only can you save them, you can easily share them with your friends. So it's really cool that we have the ability to customize our software. And so what am I talking about? For example, down at the bottom of the screen, I'm using a custom thread chart. This is actually one that I created, and when I look in my choice of thread charts, there's one here called My 48. Well, chances are you don't have that thread chart. I guess you might have a copy of it if you're following a member of my workshop classes, because I've shared it in the past. But the point is, you can create your own. Of course, using the Tools drop-down menu, we have a thread chart creator. And we have all kinds of things like save custom shapes, save symbols, save wordplay shapes. And so all of those things, whether it be, custom shapes, where I've got custom shapes in my custom shape library that I created and saved to be able to reuse again and again. I've saved symbols. I've created custom fonts. There are many, many things that you can customize about your software, motif fills, fancy fills, program fills. And so all of these things we call assets. And if you've created any assets or collected any assets from your friends, then you can back them up. And it's a way that you could easily share them with your friends as well. So all of that's going to be found under the Tools drop-down menu, where it says import and export assets and import and export presets. So the presets, that's like when I'm creating an embroidery design and there's something really specific that I've created and I want to reuse it again. And so, for example, if I draw a simple line, just click, and right-click to draw a piece of artwork, select that artwork, and if I come down to the bottom, now, if I simply click on, let's say, the steel stitch, I'll get a standard steel stitch with the default settings. But if I right-click over the steel stitch, I have other saved styles of steel stitch. So this one has a jagged edge on both sides. And so if I zoom in over top of that, you'll see what I'm talking about. And so that's called a preset. And so presets and assets are the two things that you can easily back up using the Tools drop-down menu. If I say export assets, it brings me up with a little sort of window that allows me to decide what assets I would like to export. And so first of all, it says where are they going to be saved to? And by default, it's going to want to save it into a folder called Floriani Assets. But that said, you can choose where you want to save them. If you want to save it to your desktop or your documents, or maybe you've got a specific folder that you like to keep things in, go ahead and change the location by just clicking on this button, browsing around your computer to save it. Now, choose what to export. So right now, nothing is selected. If you've created any fonts, you would click on Fonts. And now that will simply choose all of the fonts you've ever created. If you want to sort of like decide which ones you do and don't want to export, maybe you're sending it to somebody and you just want to send them one specific font. You come into this little select window and it shows you all of the custom fonts. And I have quite a few because I often teach how to, create fonts. So I could uncheck all of them. That's check all. Uncheck all of them. And so by unchecking all of them, I don't have any selected. And if I said, well, I really want to make sure I back up that new one that I just created called Ballooned, I would check it and say, okay. And so now I'm going to save one of my fonts into this asset. I don't believe I've created any custom hoops, but I know I've created custom thread charts. So I'll go into there and take a look. Oh, sure enough, there's the My 48. I guess I've got another one called Newest Chart. probably don't need that one. So I'll just uncheck it and say, okay. If I try looking in hoops, it's simply an empty list. And so, oh, okay, I don't have any hoops. But you can go through, and I've got a special workspace that I saved that puts my total quilter tools over on the left-hand side. And so I can back that up. Custom shapes. Apparently I've got quite a few different custom shapes that either I've created or somebody else has created and shared with me. And so I'll just check them all, or they're already checked all, and so I'll say, okay, now they're all coming. Symbols, these are the symbols that I'm going to make sure I take with me. Standard fill patterns, going to take all those with me. And so you kind of just go through all of your settings, all of your fancy patterns, all of your different fills, and color play themes, word play shapes, select everything. Now, once you have created or selected everything that you want, you're going to say okay. And if you leave this checked off, it says open this file in Windows Explorer after export. Well, that's certainly optional. If you're just planning on emailing it to your friend later, you might not need that. But all that means is when I say okay, after it's made the export, it's going to open up a window and show me what it looks like. So let's go ahead and let her rip. So I push OK, boom, it's done. Now it comes to a folder where it's got all of the different asset exports that I've ever made saved. And so essentially I don't need this window. It just kind of helped me to see where it went. I know that it's found on my C drive in a folder called Floriani in a folder called assets. And that's the default where it'll try to save it to. And unless you've changed that location, that's where it's going to go. Anyway, you guys, I hope you found this video helpful. I think it's amazing that we have the ability to create and save assets. I believe that is a function that began starting in the build 3561, so approximately half a year ago. I could be wrong. It might be a whole year ago that we got that functionality. But the point is, it is kind of new. You maybe never seen it or used it before. But that said, I fully intend to create new asset files to share with everybody. And so you can look forward to hearing more about assets if you follow along with the, R&K Software Club's weekly video series. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoy all of the updates in fall 2019. Have a great day. Thanks for listening, and bye-bye.